you over the edge to double. So that was the rationale behind sending Mitter to grab that village. So Lex comes along over here, softens that guy up. Finn just finally finishes that straggler, and he'll head west to join everybody else. Azel knocks off this guy, so the village is no longer being burned. Also because it's delicious XP. Noish pulls off another charge here, which is not strictly necessary, but it saves about 500 gold. Noish does not collect the money from the town, because I'm saving that for Ethlin, because staves are expensive, and Noish doesn't have any immediate use for money. Money is of course useful for everybody, so that eventually that they can pass around the elite ring when they're doing their pre-chapter arena battles. But that, you don't really get the 40,000 required for that for quite some time. So the first, 3 or 4,000 here or there from these villages is more immediately applicable to somebody like Ethlin, at least in my opinion. So this map is quite nice in that its churches are positioned very reasonably, and that you can grab some healing, because you only have the one healer. Okay, I have to position Sigurd there so that Alvis will come in and talk to him on the Alvis phase. And then my intent was for Quan to soften that archer so that it would then go and attack Azel. But he activated continue, which, works in its own way. And you won't hear me complain if Quan steals a kill, at least not too loudly. Maybe a little here or there, like with Mitter's village down south, but it turns out to work in my favor in the future, because if the archer had attacked Azel, he'd be at lower health, and his options that I'd take in a turn or two would be much more restricted. So here I just go about killing some folk and setting up a bit of a defensive formation. Not a whole lot bearing special mention yet. Finn probably doesn't need all of the help that he's going to get from the church, but nobody else is using it, and it can't hurt. So enemies like to prioritize Mideo, much like enemies in most games, due to the fact that he cannot counter them. Although, due to some quirks in the AI, sometimes even the enemy archers like to prioritize him. And I'll take advantage of this in the future. So Sigurd's breaking in his shiny new sword, and I press west. I take a fair amount of risks here. Well, not huge risks, but... And in fact, I clean up most of the mess that I seem like I'm leaving behind at the initial stages here. Where you see everybody's pressing west, even though I still have all of these barbarians in my face in the east here. Lex definitely needs to go heal up after that. I mean, he does have the ambush skill, which means that he'll get a solid whack in on anybody who tries to attack him. But I don't really want Lex stealing the kills, because he has elite, and chip damage in arenas is pretty much going to be enough to get him to max level. So, Canto in FE4 is great. You can do all kinds of stuff after attacking, or healing, or whatever. Ethlin takes full advantage of that here. So Mitter looks a little undefended right now, but I'll send Alec to close off the top. And then it's just one front, and he can easily take one front. Okay, so I need to retreat all the way with Quan. And if I set Ozzel there, things will actually proceed very well on the enemy phase. So Ozzel gets in some damage on enemies here. That hand axe guy has about 50% hit on him, so he just needs to dodge either the hand axe or the other regular barbarian. And he managed to pull that off here. And Quan was just out of reach of enough of the enemies that he also managed to survive. I hesitate here, and I attack this other archer. I think it's because I was checking my notes and I didn't remember which one it was. Although, in actuality, I don't think it matters. They're both probably the same. Alec finishes it off. Sigurd will pick up the archer that didn't get attacked here, and that will be cleaned up. And so I just continue to push full force over the bridge here. So Noise actually pulls off both charge and critical there, which helps out a lot. I'm not sure if I would have been fully able to deal with that barbarian if it was left alive. I know I don't have Lex attack this turn, so he definitely could have continued to contribute, but I don't know that that would have been enough to take care of it fully. I sent Finn up north now because I remember that I need to save that village, and nobody else currently has the range for it. Finn actually probably doesn't need the money because he has a lot of chapters of availability in which to gain all of his levels. But it's not a bad idea to have Finn leave Gen 1 with a respectable amount of levels under his belt, and so the extra money here will not be completely wasted because he'll use it to, you know, aid his elite ring passing just like everybody else. Okay, and at this point I just throw everybody at the boss just so that I can get some chip XP from him. And the chapter is, you know, basically over at this point. Ethan heals up Quan so he can get his hands on some of the chip XP because he was a little too low for comfort. And by too low for comfort, I mean he surely would have died. I mean, as we see exemplified right there. Now there's a special conversation that they have with Mitter. It's like, you're shooting arrows at me. And it's kind of amusing, but Mitter activates charge again. This is completely not necessary, because Sigurd would have had enough damage to finish off the boss by himself. And especially after Noish comes in and adds his chip. I have a few enemies left over here. Azul grabs one of them. Lex takes the other. Finn goes to grab that village like I mentioned. And then that's everybody. So I pull up the data window. We'll be seizing on turn 11 here, which is pretty good. I don't know that it could be completed any faster, to be perfectly honest. It may have been wiser to complete it a little bit slower, because I did take a few risks, but hey, I like to play a little risky at times. Anyway, So we go ahead, we seize, we speed through the remainder of the plot here, and we've successfully got the prologue under our belt.